Right, right now at 5, the Missouri Supreme Court rules in a lawsuit brought against Mercy Joplin. Plus, a t-shirt fundraiser sends a big donation to Children's Miracle Network. And a business owner with a hunger for books raises money for school lunches.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 5 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Rain chances are sticking around this week. Let's take it over to Tiffany to see what we can expect.
Good morning, Caitlin, and we are significantly warmer than we were at this time yesterday morning. Remember yesterday when we were dealing with temperatures in the 20s? That is not the case this morning. In fact, we are a good 15 to about 25 degrees warmer than we were 24 hours ago. So no 20s. No 30s even on the map. We're into the 40s. Not a bad start to your Wednesday. It's 45 in Joplin, 46 in Carthage, 43 in Lamar. It's 42 in Pittsburgh and 45 degrees in Miami. The winds have been up out of the south anywhere between 10 and 20 miles per hour. And it is going to be a breezy day all across the 4-state area. Part of the reason why we do have temperatures in the 40s is because of this cloud cover. We are mostly cloudy this morning, and we're going to stay cloudy throughout the day today. So temperatures will be rising into the mid to upper 50s. So another mild afternoon despite the cloud cover. It will be a breezy day. We stay dry today, but rain chances really start to go up as we head into the holiday weekend. So we'll break down the best chance for rain when that is, and we'll also look ahead to your Christmas Day holiday coming up a little bit later on in the show. Caitlin, back to you.
Thanks, Tiffany. A Southeast Kansas manufacturer will pay for alleged environmental violations. Cobalt Boats will pay nearly $134,000 in civil penalties because of alleged violations at its plant in Neodesha, Kansas. The Environmental Protection Agency says the boat manufacturing facility failed to comply with regulations intended to prevent releases of hazardous waste. The EPA cites violations concerning storage, monitoring, and precautionary procedures, as well as record keeping. The agency says Cobalt has taken steps to comply with the regulations. Mercy Joplin wins an appeal to the Missouri Supreme Court. The case concerns a shooting that occurred in the hospital parking lot in December of 2015. According to court documents, a woman who was high on methamphetamine got a gun out of a visitor's car, then shot the gun owner in the neck. The shooting victim, Stephen Harner, survived and sued Mercy Hospital for negligence. He claimed the hospital did not follow its own security procedures prior to the shooting. A jury found Mercy liable. Now Mercy has won its appeal after the Missouri Supreme Court found there was insufficient evidence that the hospital had reason to know that the woman was dangerous. And a Major Saver gets on in the giving state by donating to the Joplin Schools Foundation. As part of this fall's annual foundation fundraiser, Major Saver presented a check for more than $24,000. Funds raised through the program benefit the Joplin Schools Foundation and Joplin Schools. Since 2002, the program has raised more than $581,000 for Joplin schools. A Freeman fundraiser also brought in big bucks for another area charity. Yesterday, the health provider hosted its 4th annual Christmas t-shirt themed fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network. The fundraiser brought in nearly $3,500 to continue to provide support for local sick and injured kids.
Anywhere from $20 gas cards to $100 gas cards. We're sending kids all across the state, all across the country, helping with travel expenses. $4,000 can go a long way in gas for parents who may or may not be able to get their kids to those specialty trips.
These funds to CMN also go to provide life-saving medications and such programs as Higgins Heroes and the Miracle Service Dog Program. A bookstore owner in Joplin is doing his part to provide for area students. KOAM's Anthony Saviallo has more.
Just off Main Street in Joplin lies a bookstore that has been a part of the community for 23 years. It has everything a good bookstore should have. A maze of shelves to get lost in, a reading chair on every corner, and every genre imaginable.
I've always had a fondness of books. I was raised around books. My grandmother, which we lived with our grandmother in Webb City, she managed two bookstores in Joplin.
Bob Wolf has had the pleasure of being among these bound works of art all his life. He's the proud owner of Always Buying Books, and he's no stranger to providing services to those in need.
Also have a jail outreach, and we had a gal come in, literally, when she got released, said that we had saved her life just by the books that we had sent her.
But Bob's latest campaign has less to do with books and more to do with food.
Just to help for the school lunches. I found out that some of the kids, if they get behind on paying lunches, they get a secondary lunch, and I just don't think that's right, so we're going to help what we can.
Every week, Bob donates money to area schools to help provide for student lunches. The donations come from his aptly named Book Buffet, where people can take as many books as they want in exchange for however much they want to donate.
One kid can have to eat a peanut butter sandwich while the kid across the table is eating a full hot meal. You know, it's just doesn't sound right to me. I think all schools should make free lunches available.
Bob's generosity has stretched to 16 different schools in the area, and he says he has no intention of stopping.
Yeah, it's forever. We're going to do it through the summer too, because they have breakfast. And there's no need to stop it or even take a break.
Reporting in Joplin, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The Wheaton School District replied to the news about the donation, saying, quote, "We are very grateful and thankful for his generosity in helping out our students and families in Wheaton, Missouri." And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Webb City girls basketball back home last night against the Seneca Indians. We'll have the details. Plus, a deal has been reached for Nippon Steel to buy U.S. Steel for $14 billion. And rain chances stick around. We'll have what to expect with Tiffany Savone in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. And Casey Hopkins have been teammates since they each played Pee Wee football, and yesterday afternoon the two of them ensured that they will be the case for a little bit longer, as they both signed their letters of intent to play college football at University of St. Mary. Years at Galena. Each of them gave lots of credit to their teammates and coaches at Galena over the past 4 years for helping get them prepared to play football at the collegiate level.
Bo Sarwinski, while he was coaching, he helped me every single day. You know, every morning I'd wake up and there'd be times like, do I want to sit home for a minute or do I want to hurry up and get there? And every time I just replay what he said. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you're forgotten. And I took that to heart, so I always made sure be there early.
Coach Sarwinski has always pushed me and Devin to the best of our ability, has made us who we are today. And I know me and Devin's been pushing me for college football, and I've been pushing him, so it's kind of been just a back and forth kind of thing.
Switching gears to college basketball, Pitt State men's hoops finishes its brief stint in Las Vegas yesterday, playing its second game in as many days. Let's go 2 for 2 in Vegas. They win a shootout over Henderson State, 97-87. 5 players are in double figures, including Jeremy Shaw, who has an incredible game for the second day in a row. He scores 29 points, shooting 9 of 10 from the field and 4 of 4 from beyond the three-point line. And the Division II women's basketball coaches poll is released yesterday, and Pittsburgh State makes its top 25 debut. The Gorillas are ranked the number 22 team in the country after a 10-1 begin to the season, which included an overtime win at Central Missouri on Saturday. As you can see, the Jennies are the main other MIAA team in the top 25. They are ranked number 14 despite losing at home to the Gorillas and Missouri Southern over the past week. Girls basketball back home last night against the Seneca Indians, looking to bounce back after a nail-biting loss last night against Pittsburgh. Kicking things off, Kira Long gets it. She sinks it for a 3 after a bounce, and then Cardinals with an 11-0 lead early. Second quarter, Mallory Stanley, you know her well from Going to Call Her Name. She nails the three and she finishes with a 13 points. Webb in control, 29-10 at half, third quarter. And how about another three for Stanley? That makes it 36-10. Fourth quarter, Abby Sargent with a long pass to Jenna Schultz, and she knocks it off the glass for the easy layup. Addie Burns now sweetening the pot. She hits the fadeaway clean into the basket. Burns had a nice night, finishing with 13 points and an assist. And it was never really close to begin with. Seneca scores only 6 points in the second half. Webb City dominates this one, winning 60-17. Still to come, why new evidence suggests a plant-based diet can benefit your health and even reduce your risk of developing diabetes. Plus, a check of the 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Tiffany Savona, and it has been a very warm December across the four-state area. Check out the temperatures through yesterday. All of the red boxes indicating where temperatures were above average. So we were above average for 13 days so far this month. There were only a few days, 3 days to be exact, where temperatures were below average. And that trend of above average temperatures will continue as we head through the rest of the work week and into the holiday weekend. Right now, things are quiet in downtown Joplin. The flags are waving in the breeze there because the winds are up out of the south this morning, and we're looking at a breezy day today. However, it's not quite as cold as it was yesterday morning. No 20s or 30s on the map, just plenty of 40s out there. It's 45 in Joplin, 43 in Neosho, 43 in Anderson, 45 Grove. We're at 41 in Independence, 42 in Parsons and Pittsburgh, and 41 degrees in Fort Scott. Here are those winds out of the south, anywhere between 10 and about 20 miles per hour, and these winds are going to continue to increase as we go through the morning and early afternoon hours. We are cloudy. The clouds are here, and they're going to be here to stay, not only today, but for the next couple of days. Unfortunately, we're not going to see much in the way of sunshine. Let's take you hour by hour showing you what to expect. It will stay cloudy today, but we will remain dry with high temperatures climbing into the upper 50s. So another mild afternoon expected with that wind out of the south, 15 to 25 miles per hour. So you may want to check on your outdoor decorations if you have them set up. By tomorrow morning, maybe a few sprinkles here and there, temperatures in the upper 40s. And tomorrow is basically going to be dry. Like I mentioned, a few sprinkles, high temperatures, upper 50s to near 60. Once again, another mild day tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, that's when the showers start to push into our western communities, into Oklahoma and Kansas. And that rain will continue to overspread the region as we head into Thursday night, and those showers continue into your Friday morning. Notice that the rain is pretty widespread early Friday, but then the rain showers will be tapering off as we go throughout the day to end your work week with temperatures still in the upper 50s. So as far as temperatures go, there's really not going to be too much day-to-day change through the rest of the work week. Now let's go beyond Friday because a lot of you may be traveling this weekend. Unfortunately, the weather pattern becoming much more unsettled. During the day on Saturday, we're looking dry, but as we head into Saturday evening, we're going to have another storm system moving in from the south and west. You can see that big dip in the jet stream there. Showers will be moving in Saturday night, and then Sunday is looking rather wet. Most of the day, we could even have a few thunderstorms out there on Sunday. And then as we take it into Christmas Day, it looks like the rain will linger, at least in the morning hours. Hopefully, we start to dry things out as we head into Monday afternoon. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Breezy, mild today, 57. 58 tomorrow with a couple of sprinkles. But remember, rain chances start to increase Thursday night into the day on Friday. Friday will start to dry things out by Friday night. And then most of your Saturday looking dry with showers moving in Saturday evening, and then Sunday is looking like the wettest day there out of the next 7. So if you can avoid traveling on Sunday, that's going to be your best bet. I know that is Christmas Eve, so a lot of you will be going to those church services. It's probably a busy day for you. Now Monday morning, we're looking at rain, but it looks like it will taper off Monday afternoon. At least that's what it looks like right now. And then we're going to end the year on a cold note. Look at those numbers. We're dropping into the 40s. by the end of next week. And KOAM News will continue right after this break.
Topping Health Watch this morning, there's new evidence to suggest a plant-based diet can benefit your health and even reduce your risk of developing diabetes. The British study followed more than 113,000 people over a dozen years. It found people who ate the most grains, fruits, and vegetables while limiting sweets and sugary drinks dropped the risk of developing diabetes by 24%. The study also found people who ate the healthiest diet were not overweight, had better blood sugar levels, and lower levels of inflammation in their bodies. People genetically predisposed to getting diabetes also saw benefits from eating a healthy diet. And the newest class of weight loss drugs are leading to more optimism in the fight against obesity. And there's new evidence that the drugs could have benefits beyond weight loss. The drugs were originally made to lower blood sugar in people with diabetes. They work by mimicking a gut hormone called glucagon-like peptide 1, or GLP-1. Researchers later discovered the drugs induced significant weight loss with some manageable side effects. 2 years ago, Novo Nordisk's semaglutide got the green light for weight management in the U.S., and it's since taken off. According to electronic health records, 1.7% of Americans were prescribed one of those this year. And recently, clinical trials have found that GLP-1 drugs also cut symptoms of heart failure and the risk of heart attacks and strokes. As a result, the publication Science named GLP-1 drugs the breakthrough of the year. And the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says a coronavirus subvariant is now the fastest growing strain on the virus. The CDC says subvariant JN.1 is now causing about 20% of new COVID infections across the country. The strain already dominates in the Northeast, where it's estimated to cause about a third of new infections there. The CDC estimates that the spread of the subvariant more than doubled in the U.S. between late November and mid-December, perhaps getting a boost from holiday travel and waning immunity. The CDC says as of December 9th, only about 18% of adults had received the latest COVID-19 vaccine, and the Public Health Agency is now calling on doctors to work harder to get their patients vaccinated. A new report by a reproductive health advocacy group finds that more people from nearby states are coming to Kansas to get abortions. Clinics about Wichita say that they are changing how they operate to better serve the growing number of people seeking their services. Kel Chapman has a story.
More patients from Texas are coming to Wichita's Trust Women Clinic since the Lone Star State banned abortion.
We saw initially that travel impact our Oklahoma City clinic, but then after Oklahoma banned abortions ahead of the Dobbs decision that overturned Roe, those patients started coming to our Kansas clinic.
Trust Women Communications Director Zach Gingrich-Gaylord says the clinic's seen more than 4,000 patients so far this year. He says that's a significant increase since the U.S. Supreme Court's Dobbs decision that overturned national protection of abortion rights, and some states further limiting abortion access.
Reproductive health care in this region looks this way because of abortion bans in other states.
Trust Women says more than 80% of the patients they see travel to Wichita from out of state. Over half of those out-of-state patients come from Texas, and just over 20% come from Oklahoma. But they've also seen patients from as far away as Mississippi and Florida.
Wherever people can get an appointment, they're getting there.
In their monthly abortion provision study, the Guttmacher Institute says 65% of abortions provided in Kansas during the first half of the year were provided to out-of-state patients. State Representative Emil Bergquist is worried Kansas has become an abortion destination.
My concern is that our state has become a destination of belief that we can throw out any law that protects a woman, her health, and protects parents' notification in the case of a minor even have an abortion.
Trust Women says they've tripled their full-time staff in response to the growing number of patients. Representative Bergquist says in the legislature he will continue to try to pass laws that protect women and children. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. Coming up, Tiffany will have another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Right now at 5:30, a Joplin real estate agency donated more than $21,000 to the Ronald McDonald House. Plus, students from Joplin Stapleton Elementary School get a gravity-defying reward for a successful food drive. And the Coffeyville, Kansas Police Department wants to make sure the Grinch doesn't steal your Christmas.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 7:30 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. We have some rain headed this way, so let's take it over to Tiffany to see what we can expect.
Good morning, Caitlin. And we're going to stay dry today, but if you're going to be traveling as we head into the upcoming holiday weekend, you want to stay tuned because we do have some rain to talk about. Let's check out our 24-hour temperature change because we are significantly warmer than where we were at this time yesterday. Temperatures running about 15 to 25 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. So no 20s or 30s out there. It'll be in the 40s as you step out the door. So not bad, chilly, but not nearly as cold as yesterday morning. 45 in Joplin, it's 42 degrees in Monette, it's 41 Cassville, 43 in Anderson, 46 in Miami, we're at 42 in Parsons, 43 in Chanute, and 42 degrees in Yates Center. The wind is already up and it is going to be a breezy day today. Winds are out of the south, pumping in that mild air, anywhere between 10 and about 20 miles per hour. And we could see wind gusts as high as 30, maybe even 35 miles per hour throughout the day today. So if you have any outdoor decorations, you may want to secure them before heading off to work and make sure they're still in place once you get home later on today. Clouds have already pushed in and we're going to stay cloudy throughout the day today. So don't expect any sunshine, unfortunately. But at least we're not going to see any rain. It'll be a cloudy, breezy, and mild afternoon with high temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. So similar temperatures to what we saw yesterday. And that 7 to 7 forecast showing the same thing. Upper 50s for your high. Keep in mind our average is in the upper 40s. So we are going to be well above average today, and that trend continues into the holiday weekend. So we'll talk temperatures and rain chances coming up in a bit. Caitlin, back to you.
Thanks, Tiffany. A Joplin real estate agency yesterday donated more than $21,000 to the Ronald McDonald House. Reese Nichols raised the money by having agents donate $100 for every home they help buy or sell from April through October. That money will help provide 211 free nights of lodging and support for families in need in the Ronald McDonald House's services.
Because it's a way to give back, and it's just such an impactful thing. We help families find homes, and the Ronald McDonald House provides homes for families when they have a child in the hospital, and it's just a very meaningful, feel-good way.
The donations were part of Reese Nichols' Gold Key project. Across the country, the project raised more than $300,000. Students at Stapleton Elementary in Joplin yesterday taped their principal to the wall as a reward for a food drive. The students have been collecting food for the past several days. The class that collected the most had the honor of taping the school's principal, Casey Flyler, to the wall. Officials say it's a good way to encourage his students to give back to those in need.
So we on the SOAR team believe that it's important for our students to know how to give back in their community to make a difference and to know how it is to give without needing a return. So in order to show them that, we made this more personal for them to show them how their giving can be fun.
This reward comes after the students surpassed their goal of collecting at least 200,000 cans of food. And if you've been scrolling on social media in the past couple of weeks, you might have seen a video made by a Joplin resident that is going viral. The video shows a surprise dinner that KCU student made for her 28-year-old boyfriend. However, it's not just a simple dinner. The presentation features a volcano made with mashed potatoes with the lava crafted from gravy. Broccoli, asparagus, mushrooms, and dinosaur-shaped nuggets add to the microenvironment.
I first just wanted to film his reaction because I knew he was going to react to it. Like, I knew he was not suspecting. At some points I was like, I really need to throw him off. So I'm like, I asked him, I was like, do you want fish or do you want something else? I can't remember. Like, I was trying to throw him off.
I didn't even have a TikTok account. I think the only reason why we put it on TikTok is because I wanted to put the soundtrack, the Jurassic Park soundtrack, and I know that you can do that on TikTok. So I asked Celine to upload it so we could have it with the video, and she just posted it.
Less than 2 weeks after posting, the video made by Faid has reached more than 13 million views, not including the views from other pages that reposted the content. Carthage residents went on an evening jog through a light display. Carthage Nazarene hosted the Run Through the Lights event. Folks were able to run, walk, or jog through the Way of Salvation light display as part of a group. The course was 1 mile long, but there was also an option for people to go another 4 miles through the Carthage Square to sparkle in the park at Central Park before returning to Fairview Nazarene Church. And the Coffeyville, Kansas Police Department wants to make sure the Grinch doesn't steal your Christmas. They've released this video apparently confirming that the Grinch was spotted coming into town. He's a mean one, Mr. Grinch. GPS had been tracking his ankle monitor, which has since been removed. Coffeyville PD wants to make sure the public has all of their gifts locked up and secure and asks everyone to please keep their eyes open for this green menace. And that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A volcano in Iceland is erupting and proving the power of what lies below the earth. Plus, Israeli troops raided one of the last functioning hospitals in Gaza's north. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, a volcano in Iceland's Reykjanes Peninsula is erupting and proving the power of what lies beneath the earth. The eruption comes weeks after powerful earthquakes forced people from their homes. Emily Schmidt has more on the incredible images and what they mean for those who live near the eruption.
It's one thing to hear the rate of lava discharge was thought to be on a scale of hundreds of cubic meters per second in the first hours of Monday's volcanic eruption, as the Icelandic Meteorological Office, or IMO, said.
Kind of an old adage in volcanology circles that the only constant is change.
It's quite another to see a fissure opening stretching about 2.5 miles, the fourth and largest eruption in the area since 2021. The striking contrast between fire and snow, the intense glow visible from afar. Yet a geologist says this eruption may not be as disruptive as it appears.
They are very dramatic to see, but this volcano does not produce the big ash clouds like when Eyjafjallajökull in Iceland erupted in 2010.
The IMO says Tuesday the lava flow diminished to 1/4 its original size with no reported impact on air travel. But the gases are toxic, and there's a chance pollution could reach the capital of Reykjavik early Wednesday. The real disruption is in Grindavik, about 3 kilometers away from the eruption, evacuated as a precaution in November after a series of earthquakes.
Fortunately for the inhabitants of Grindavik, it's impossible to say how long this will last.
So far, the lava flow has spared the community.
If this activity goes on, then the big question is, will Grindavik be inhabitable in the long run?
Police say scientists will reassess the situation every hour, predicting it will take days to get as close to certainty as this eruption will allow. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
The government of Iceland says volcanoes are, quote, part of our DNA. All roads to Grindavik remain closed except for people who are working with authorities in the danger zone. And a deal has been reached for Nippon Steel, Japan's largest steel maker, to buy U.S. Steel for $14 billion. U.S. Steel was once the world's largest corporation and a symbol of American industrial might, but these days U.S. Steel isn't even the largest American steel maker. The new deal is the latest step in the gradual decline of the iconic 122-year-old company. The agreement would allow U.S. Steel to retain its name and keep its headquarters in Pittsburgh. However, the agreement could face opposition. Earlier this summer, the United Steelworkers Union vowed to only support a proposed purchase offer from another unionized American steel company, Cleveland-Cliffs. The U.S. Steel Board rejected that offer. And comedian Jerry Seinfeld tours a southern Israel kibbutz Tuesday. The Seinfeld actor getting a first-hand look at the community, which was raided by Hamas during the October 7th attack. Seinfeld, who is Jewish, also meeting with relatives of hostages still held by Palestinian militants since the attack. More than 100 people were loved in the settlement, visited by the comedian, were killed in October 7th. The location was one of more than 20 towns and villages attacked by Hamas. And as the U.S. expects more pressure on Israel to modify its offensive in Gaza, health officials there report at least 28 Palestinians were killed during an air, missile, and strikes in the Rafah area. Israeli troops also raided one of the last functioning hospitals in Gaza's north. Correspondent Nate Foy is in Jerusalem with the latest.
Israel wants to make a deal with Hamas.
Israel is ready for another humanitarian pause and additional humanitarian aid in order to enable the release of hostages.
129 Israeli hostages remain in Gaza. Some of their families protest by sleeping outside the Kiryat military headquarters in Tel Aviv, demanding the government bring their loved ones home. The head of Israel's Mossad intelligence agency discussed the possibility of a hostage deal in Poland on Monday with CIA Director Bill Burns and Qatar's Prime Minister. But Hamas refuses to negotiate.
We affirm our position of categorically rejecting to hold any form of negotiations.
U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin met with regional defense ministers today, discussing Operation Prosperity Guardian, an international task force meant to protect shipping in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden from Houthi rebel attacks.
These reckless Houthi attacks are a serious international problem, and they demand a firm international response.
The Houthis say the U.S.-led coalition shows more aggression against Palestinians, while the Houthis' benefactor Iran announces a new voluntary naval force of its own, armed with rockets. In the southern Gaza city of Rafah, the IDF killed a key Hamas financier, who Israel says transferred tens of millions of dollars from Iran to Hamas, while airstrikes devastate Palestinian communities and kill thousands. For a second night in a row, Hamas released a video showing 2 Israeli hostages alive and increasing the pressure on the Israeli government to do whatever is necessary to bring them home safely.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Good morning and welcome back. It is 5:45 on your Wednesday, and we're looking at another mild day across the 4-state area. Let's check out the temperatures over the past couple of days. Earlier this week on Monday, we hit 43 degrees. That was one of the coldest days of the month. We were actually below average, but since then, look at those temperatures. We topped out at 57 yesterday. We're going for a high of 57 today, and then tomorrow and Friday, highs back in the mid to upper 50s. So don't expect much day-to-day change as far as temperatures go. Here's a live look outside. All is quiet in Joplin and Pittsburgh. It's 45 in Joplin, 43 in Pittsburgh. We don't have any fog out there. You won't have to be dealing with any frost this morning as temperatures are well above freezing into the 40s, so no 20s and 30s like you dealt with yesterday morning. It's currently 46 in Miami. It's 43 in Neosho. It's 42 Monette. 42 in Nevada, 42 in Fort Scott, 42 Pittsburgh, 43 in Chanute, and 41 in Iola. Winds are out of the south. They're breezy already, anywhere between 10 and 20 miles per hour. A little bit stronger in Joplin, Lamar, and over toward Mount Vernon. And these winds will continue to stay elevated throughout the day today. Could gust as high as 30, 35 miles per hour. So if you have any outdoor decorations, you may want to secure them if they're not secured before heading off to work, and check on them when you get home later on today to make sure they're not blown over. Clouds have already pushed in, and we're going to stay cloudy throughout the day, and we're going to stay dry as well. We're very dry in the low levels of the atmosphere. So as we go hour by hour, temperatures climbing into the mid to upper 50s with cloudy conditions, breezy conditions. Overnight tonight, we only drop back down into the 40s. And as we begin your Thursday, we'll begin it on a cloudy note, maybe a sprinkle here and there. I know our future track trying to show a couple of showers, but keep in mind, we're still pretty dry in the lower levels of the atmosphere, so any rain that falls from the clouds will likely evaporate before reaching the ground. So maybe a few sprinkles tomorrow. That's about it. Tomorrow evening, that's a different story. That's when showers will start to impact our far western communities in Kansas and Oklahoma, and then that activity will continue to work its way east across the 4-state area and overspread the region. So by tomorrow night, it's going to be a wet evening. The rain primarily on the light side. By Friday morning, showers continue. We're not done with the rain just yet. It will be a mild start in the morning, but then we'll dry things out Friday afternoon with highs back in the upper 50s. Like I mentioned, not much day-to-day change as far as temperatures go. Our rain tracker, we're tracking how much rain we're expecting now through Friday, and not much. I think this may be even a little bit too high. I think many areas anywhere between 1/4 of an inch to about 1/2 an inch. I think 1/2 an inch is on the light side. Let's fast forward to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. That's all anyone is concerned about, right? If you're going to be traveling across the area, I think Sunday is going to be probably the worst travel day. Rain and a few storms look likely most of the day. We will be mild, 61. The rain will unfortunately linger into early Christmas morning, so Santa is going to be quite wet on his travels Sunday night into very early Monday morning. The mild weather will continue Christmas Eve and Christmas Day before we get much colder as we head into the last couple of days in December. So if you're looking at which day you should travel, I think Friday afternoon is looking like a good bet. Most of the day on Saturday. It's Saturday night into the day on Sunday. That's when travel could become a bit slick out there with rain showers. No snow expected. Slick, I mean rain showers. So your 7-day forecast showing that we're breezy, dry today, a couple of sprinkles tomorrow. That snowflake indicating that winter officially begins at 9:27 tomorrow night. Not going to feel like winter though as we round out the week and head into the weekend. Morning rain Friday, drying out Friday afternoon. Most of your Saturday is dry. Showers move in Saturday evening, continue into Sunday. Monday, we could have rain in the morning like I mentioned, and then it turns colder. Look at the last couple of days of December. We're talking about highs in the 40s, lows in the 20s. And we'll have more news and weather coming up right after this break.
An Iowa man is the first to complete the Iowa Queso Cruise. Never heard of it? Well, that's because it was just recently created by someone who realized you could hit up all 26 Pacheros locations in the state in one single day. Pacheros heard about the challenge and said they'd offer free burritos for a year to anyone who could complete it. As Ophelia Jacobson reports, Jared Ness now has a belly full of burritos and many more coming his way.
Hungry for a challenge? Pancheros posed a tasty one, the Iowa Queso Cruise. Just visit all 26 Pancheros locations in Iowa in one day. The reward from this Tex-Mex-filled trip? 52 free burritos a year. The task is a tall order, but Jared Ness wanted to take it head on.
So I figured, screw it. I'm going to be home for 2 weeks, so I had to pack all my stuff for 2 weeks super fast, and I got out the door.
His coworker Alex Skukin actually created the challenge. He did the math and figured out you could visit all Pancheros locations in 24 hours. You'd start in West Des Moines at 10:30 a.m., spend 5 minutes at each place, and end up in Iowa City at 1:45 a.m. right before close.
Over my lunch break, I decided I was going to do the stupid math to see how long it would take to do that, and tweeted it out, and it picked up steam pretty quick.
Pancheros took notice on X and released official rules. It was a wrap for Ness on Saturday with hours to spare. Not show average road trip, but Ness says it was worth every mile.
I won't be eating any more burritos than I already do. This is simply paying for the one burrito I get every week.
The burrito challenge is a little more feasible in Iowa because there are only 26 locations. If you were to try this at another Mexican fast food chain, the numbers will be a lot more daunting. For instance, Chipotle has more than 3,100 locations in the U.S., and there are 7,800 Taco Bells. We'll be right back. Call it a feline first for NASA. The space agency streamed its first cat video from deep space. Taters is not actually in outer space, nor is he the first cat in space, but he's the star of the 15-second Ultra HD video, which traveled 19 million miles back to Earth. It's part of an experiment by NASA's Deep Space Optical Communications, all to test a high-bandwidth optical communication and enable future missions for humans beyond Earth's orbit. And Santa pays a special visit to some children in Rio de Janeiro, but he didn't travel by traditional means. Arriving by helicopter, Mr. Claus brought some Christmas cheer to children who were recipients of an organ transplant. When Santa hopped out of the helicopter, the kids ran to his arms. The gathering was coordinated by the Rio de Janeiro State Health Department to bring awareness about organ donation. The department used the helicopter to highlight use in quickly and safely delivering organs for surgery.
We're starting off in the 40s, so no 20s and 30s like we saw yesterday morning. So not nearly as cold, but certainly chilly out there. You'll need to bundle up. And it's a bit breezy as well. Winds are out of the south anywhere from 10 to about 20 miles per hour, making it feel a little bit colder than those 40s I just showed you. The clouds are here. They are here to stay, not only today, but as we head into the upcoming weekend. So here's what you can expect on your Wednesday. 47 degrees by 9, 54 by noon. Highs around 57 degrees. Will be cloudy, breezy, and mild. And the mild weather continues despite the rain chances going up. So today we're dry. Tomorrow, a couple of sprinkles. That's it. That snowflake just indicating that winter begins tomorrow. We don't have any snow in the forecast. Then on Friday, showers will be widespread, actually Thursday night into early Friday. Saturday, we're dry until Saturday evening. That's when rain chances go back up. Sunday is looking like the wettest day there out of the next 7 with showers and a few storms. It looks like a few of those showers could linger into your Christmas morning. And then once we get beyond the holiday, it gets drier and it gets much colder. We'll have more news and weather coming up right after the break.
Right now at 6, the Missouri Supreme Court rules in a lawsuit brought against Mercy Joplin. Plus, a t-shirt fundraiser sends a big donation to Children's Miracle Network. And a video made by a Joplin resident is going viral on the social media platform TikTok.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Rain chances are sticking around this week. Let's take it over to Tiffany to see what we can expect.
Caitlin, we are going to be dry today, but rain chances will be back in the forecast as we head into tomorrow night and into your Friday. So temperatures are starting off in the 40s this morning. We're not nearly as cold as those 20s and 30s we saw yesterday morning, but with the wind, which is up out of the south anywhere from 5 to about 15, 17 miles per hour, it feels a little bit colder than the actual air temperature. So these are the numbers you need to dress for this morning as you head out the door. It feels more like the mid and upper 30s and lower 40s across portions of northeast Oklahoma. So definitely a chilly start on your Wednesday. We have a lot of clouds out there already, and unfortunately, we're really not going to see much in the way of sunshine today. In fact, we are going to stay cloudy, so make sure the kids bundle up. Temperatures will be in the middle 40s as they head off to catch the bus, but keep in mind wind chills will likely be in the 30s at that time. And then as they're heading home from school, still cloudy, 57, breezy and mild, although we could see this wind gusts as high as 30, maybe even 35 miles per hour. The mild weather sticks around, but rain chances going up as we head into the upcoming holiday weekend. We'll time it all out for you and also have a look at your holiday forecast coming up a little bit later on in the show. Caitlin, back to you.
Thanks, Tiffany. A Southeast Kansas manufacturer will pay for alleged environmental violations. Cobalt Boats will pay nearly $134,000 in civil penalties because of alleged violations at its plant in Neodesha, Kansas. The Environmental Protection Agency says the boat manufacturing facility failed to comply with regulations intended to prevent releases of hazardous waste. The EPA cites violations concerning storage, monitoring, and precautionary procedures, as well as record keeping. The agency says Cobalt has taken steps to comply with the regulations. Mercy Joplin wins an appeal to the Missouri Supreme Court. The case concerned a shooting that occurred in the hospital parking lot in December of 2015. According to court documents, a woman who was high on methamphetamine got a gun out of a visitor's car, then shot the gun owner in the neck. The shooting victim, Stephen Hardner, survived and sued Mercy Hospital for negligence. He claimed the hospital did not follow its own security procedures prior to the shooting. A jury found Mercy liable. Now Mercy has won its appeal after the Missouri Supreme Court found there was insufficient evidence that the hospital had reason to know that the woman was dangerous. Major Saver gets in on the giving by donating to the Joplin Schools Foundation. As part of this fall's annual foundation fundraiser, Major Saver presented a check for more than $24,000. Funds raised through the program benefit the Joplin Schools Foundation and Joplin Schools. Since 2002, this program has raised more than $581,000 for Joplin schools. A Freeman fundraiser also brought in big bucks for another area charity. Yesterday, the health provider hosted its 4th annual Christmas t-shirt themed fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network. The fundraiser brought in nearly $3,500 to continue to provide support for local sick and injured kids.
Anywhere from $20 gas cards to $100 gas cards. We're sending kids all across the state, all across the country, helping with travel expenses. $4,000 can go a long way in gas for parents who may or may not be able to get their kids to those specialty trips.
These funds to CMN also go to provide life-saving medications and such programs as Higgins Heroes and the Miracle Service Dog Program. And if you were scrolling on social media in the past couple weeks, you probably watched a video made by a Joplin resident that is going viral. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has the story.
The video that has millions and millions of views shows the plate's presentation. It features a volcano made with mashed potatoes with the lava crafted from gravy. Broccoli, asparagus, mushrooms, and dinosaur-shaped nuggets add to the microenvironment.
I felt like a little kid. I mean, I got so excited. It was, I wasn't expecting it at all, but I really wanted it, and I had completely forgotten how much I actually wanted until I saw it.
No way! I totally forgot I wanted that!
Juan Laporta birthday dinner organized by his girlfriend went viral on social media at the beginning of the month. Juan forgot about it, but his girlfriend, Celine Fayad, did not.
I first just wanted to film his reaction because I knew he was going to react to it. Like, I knew he was not suspecting.
She shared the video with their family and friends. Then she decided to post it on TikTok.
You wake up the next day and, you know, my friend told me that it's like at 600,000 views, and I was like, okay, this is probably the end, right? Like, it should probably stop at this point. And then it just kept going, and I kept waking up, and I'm not gonna lie, it did distract me from studying.
Celine and Juan are both second-year students at KCU.
Just being in med school or just working all the time, it's stressful. So having an outlet like that, and just to be able to just like kind of let go and just be playful and, you know, childish, but, you know, in a wholesome manner, I think it was really nice.
Now, they also have a plan B.
I mean, I guess if school fails, then like I guess I'll do TikTok. No, I'm kidding.
In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
The video currently has 13 million views and almost 1.7 million likes on TikTok, but it also has been reposted by other pages, adding even bigger numbers to the count. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, floodwaters appear to be receding in New Hampshire after severe water damage. We have the details. Plus, there's fallout this morning following a top Colorado court's ruling that former President Donald Trump is ineligible to appear on the state's primary ballot next year. Plus, Tiffany will have another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, floodwaters appear to be receding in New Hampshire after severe weather hammered much of the Northeast. Now officials in Plymouth are starting to assess the damage. Ross Ketchy reports.
A lot of debris left in places it just should not be after heavy flooding Monday into Tuesday. This water truck picked up and swept away by the raging river, eventually getting wedged under a bridge in Gorham. The town's fire chief says there's damage almost everywhere you look.
Pretty severe damage across town as far as roads and washouts and gullies and culverts.
Among the hardest hit areas, a nearby golf course washed out by the floods. A home near the banks of the Peabody River partially swept away. The remaining structure now propped up with extra wood and cement.
This whole embankment had chain link fences and rocks to be able to support the land. It just peeled right back like it was paper.
In Plymouth, sundown bringing out the hum of sub pumps. One homeowner telling News 9 they had up to 6 feet of water in their basement, the most they've seen since Tropical Storm Irene.
It's the third time, with this one. It's kind of to be expected in a flood zone, but I think I've got it down packed now. It's working out. I'm on hour 3. Hopefully, I think there's like another hour left and we'll be done.
The migrant surge is being fueled by pseudo-legitimate travel agencies that are connecting passengers to smugglers. That's according to a U.S. Customs and Border Protection official who said the smugglers are facilitating the illegal crossings of up to 1,000 people at a time. Officials say one nationality falling victim in the Senegalese. The agencies are advertising free visa travel to Europe and then to the U.S. The smuggling organizations are using large bus lines in Mexico's northern state of Sonora to move the migrants to random spots on the border. Tuesday, about 12,600 migrants were apprehended at the border within a 24-hour period. A federal appeals court in Connecticut has received a case that challenges a state policy that allows transgender athletes to compete in sports based on their gender identity. The case was first brought to light by 4 cisgender women in 2020 after they filed a lawsuit while high schoolers in athletes. In the 48-page ruling on Friday, the court said the plaintiffs have the legal right needed to bring the suit and have presented sufficient evidence to seek monetary damages. In their lawsuit, the runners argue the policy allowing transgender girls to participate in girls' track and field is in violation of a state law that bars discrimination on the basis of sex. In 2021, a federal judge dismissed the case after 2 transgender athletes mentioned in the lawsuit graduated. The judge said there was no indication that the plaintiffs would again compete against transgender athletes in the state. And a judge has ordered Rep. Scott Perry to turn over more than 1,600 cell phone communications to federal prosecutors in Donald Trump's 2020 election subversion case. The Tuesday court decision comes after a months-long battle over which of Perry's cell phone messages could be accessible to investigators. The judge is allowing Perry to protect about 400 records directly related to votes he would take, including certifying the 2020 election result. Perry's team has not yet responded to the new order. They previously delayed the special counsel's office from accessing any of the messages with an appeal following the FBI's court-approved seizure of Perry's phone. And there's fallout this morning following a top Colorado court's ruling that former President Donald Trump is ineligible to appear on the state's primary ballot next year. The Trump campaign says it plans to appeal the decision. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has more on the decision and its implications for the 2024 presidential election.
Thank you.
Former President Donald Trump defiant as usual on the campaign stage in Iowa, though never mentioning the unprecedented decision by Colorado Supreme Court to strike him from that state's primary ballot.
We will fight for America like no one has ever fought before.
The 4-3 ruling in response to a lawsuit brought by a group of voters challenging Trump's eligibility based on his actions on January 6th. Their question: whether those actions violated Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which disqualifies officers of the United States who, quote, have engaged in insurrection or rebellion from holding office.
Our voters got a fair shake in court, just like Donald Trump did.
Anticipating legal challenges, the court put its own decision on hold until January.
What the Colorado Supreme Court has just done is to kind of kickstart the process by which the United States Supreme Court is likely to rule. And their ruling absolutely will have some impact on whether or not Donald Trump, if he gains the Republican nomination, is eligible to appear on the general election ballot.
The Trump campaign called the ruling completely flawed and says it plans to appeal. Some of the former president's GOP rivals also criticized the ruling.
I do not believe Donald Trump should be prevented from being president of the United States by any court.
Similar lawsuits challenging Trump's candidacy have failed or are still pending in dozens of other states. Jared Hill, CBS News.
CBS News election law contributor David Becker says that he believes the U.S. Supreme Court will likely expedite the former president's appeal once it is filed. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. And there's also only 5 days left until Christmas. And you know what that means. It's once again time for our annual Pictures with Santa segment. First up, we have Ashton Ripple, age 18 months, from Columbus, Kansas. Then we've got a group of 5, Delay, Carter, Kyson, Knox, and Crew Dickerson, ages 7, 6, 4, and 1, and 4 months, from Mulberry, Kansas. Next up, we have Indy Plummer, age 1, from McCune, Kansas. And last but certainly not least, we close out today's pictures with Santa with Jaleel Girls, age 6, from Girard, Kansas. And we're going to be showcasing even more pictures with Santa over the course of this week on the KOAM Morning News. We'll take it over to Tiffany now for a quick look at your forecast.
And we're looking at winter starting tomorrow. Winter officially begins at 9:27. It's going to be the shortest day of the year. In Joplin, we have exactly 9 hours and 36 minutes of daylight hours, but that number will be increasing once we get past tomorrow, and the days will be getting longer. It's not going to feel like winter over the next few days. We'll break down that full forecast for you coming up after the break.
A Virginia teen is showing kindness and wisdom beyond her years this holiday season. 15-year-old Aaliyah Knight is making a difference and inspiring others through a gift drive for patients at a local hospital. Taylor Rosari has more.
I think I have a pretty good life, and I think it's said, the people in the hospital don't have the same opportunities and things that I do. I just think it's super unfair. So I want them to be happy and have the same, opportunities that I have.
A wish to make people happy. It's something Aaliyah's parents say has been with her since the age of 7, even writing it on this letter to Santa that year when asked what she wanted for Christmas. Now 8 years later, Aaliyah is gathering donations for a drive she started in the town of Shenandoah this year called Christmas for Children. The items will go to families and patients at Centera RMH.
I was super, blessed to see how many people in my community got involved and donated. I think that it grew very quickly. I was not expecting it to get this big.
Over the last several weeks, Aaliyah has gathered nearly $2,000 in monetary donations and hundreds of items from teddy bears to coloring books, all with the support of the town of Shenandoah behind her.
I really want to see this grow, and obviously in the years as we go on, I want this to get bigger and bigger and just see more kids happy and just be able to be involved with that, I guess.
And even if people aren't able to donate to Aaliyah's drive, she says there is always something you can do to be a positive light to others.
If people are in the hospital, they get a little box of crayons, that could just make their whole day. And I think the little things matter most in life, and the kids don't care about who you are. Even if you just say something to them, say something nice, anything helps. It could make anybody's day. So you never know what somebody's going through.
Aaliyah will be delivering the gifts on Friday. Now here's Tiffany with a quick look at your forecast.
And if you're going to be heading to work shortly, no problems expected as temperatures will be hovering in the 40s out there. We're dry this morning, just cloudy. However, just for wind chills in the 30s, it is a bit breezy out there, and it will stay breezy throughout the day. Cloudy and mild, highs in the mid to upper 50s. Rain chances return by the end of the week, so we'll break down that entire 10-day forecast. Good morning. As we take a live look out of our December camera here, I do want our month of December, that's what I'm trying to say. We'll get to the cameras in just a second. I do want to show you that it has been an incredibly warm month so far. Look at all of the days above average, all of those days highlighted in red. That included yesterday, 57. Monday, it was one of the colder days of the month where we were below average. Only 3 days this month, temperatures were below average. So we will continue with our above average trend as we head into the next couple of days. The last few days of December, it's looking much colder. Downtown Joplin, here's that camera I was talking about. All is quiet. Notice that the flag is waving in the breeze. Flags are waving in the breeze, I should say, because the wind is up out of the south this morning. Temperatures not nearly as cold as it was 24 hours ago. We're in the 40s to start off your Wednesday. It's 46 in Joplin, 45 in Lamar, 43 in Nevada, 42 in Fort Scott, 43 Parsons, 42 in Independence, and Miami checking in at 48. There are those winds out of the south, anywhere between 10 and about 20 miles per hour, and they'll likely increase a little bit more as we go throughout the morning hours. So here are your feels like temperatures. These are the wind chill values. These are the numbers you'll want to dress for. So it feels like it's in the mid to upper 30s in many locations across Kansas and Missouri, all thanks to that wind, which is elevated this morning. Here's our Skywatch storm tracker. Notice that we are cloudy. Any radar returns to the north while clearly not reaching the ground because we are still very dry at the surface. So we are going to stay dry throughout the day today. Highs in the mid to upper 50s. So temperature wise, very similar to what we saw yesterday. Overnight, we only drop it into the upper 40s to near 50 degrees, another mild start to the day. I notice our future track trying to pick up on a couple of isolated showers, maybe a few sprinkles. That is about it throughout the day tomorrow. I think we're mainly dry. It's going to take a little while for the atmosphere to moisten up for us to actually see that rain. But I think we will start to see that rain across our far western communities in Kansas and Oklahoma as we head into tomorrow evening. And then the rain overspreads the area. It's looking like a rainy night tomorrow. Temperatures stay in the 50s. Friday morning, if you're getting up early to head off to work, showers could impact your morning commute before those rain showers push off to the east, and will dry things out Friday afternoon with high temperatures still in the mid to upper 50s. Let's fast forward to the weekend. I know a lot of you will be traveling. Unfortunately, it's looking a bit wet at times. So here we are Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. We start to see those showers roll into the region, and then by Saturday night, early Sunday, it's looking wet across the four-state area. Sunday, rain and even a few thunderstorms look likely throughout the day, so the wettest travel day looks to be on Sunday. Try to avoid that day if you can. Showers will likely linger into Christmas morning, unfortunately. But by Christmas afternoon, Christmas Day, during the afternoon hours, I should say, I think that's when we'll start to dry things out. 7-day forecast showing that we're breezy, cloudy. Tomorrow, a couple of sprinkles. That snowflake indicating that winter begins tomorrow at night. Then those rain chances going up Thursday night into early Friday morning. Saturday, most of the day looks dry before those showers push in. Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Sunday, Christmas Eve looking like the wettest day, and the rain lingers into early Monday morning, Christmas Day. But look at those temperatures beyond that 7-day. We're down into the 40s for highs by the end of next week. Caitlin?
All right, thanks, Tiffany. A drug commonly used to treat diabetes may help women keep weight off after they stop smoking. The drug is sold under the name Trulicity, and a new analysis finds both men and women have less weight gain after using it. The results were more significant in women, who are 5 times as likely as men to gain substantial weight after they quit smoking. A new study at the University of Michigan finds that nearly 30% of caregivers of severe stroke patients experience high levels of anxiety, depression, or post-traumatic stress during the first year of care. Researchers say doctors usually concentrate on the patient, but it's important to recognize that caregivers face long-term consequences. And new research in Taiwan finds steroid creams used to treat inflammatory skin conditions are linked to higher risks of osteoporosis and bone fractures. Researchers say this study highlights the need to use powerful steroids carefully and to be aware of the possible side effects. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, a Joplin real estate agency donates more than $21,000 to the Ronald McDonald House. Plus, students from Joplin's Stapleton Elementary School get a gravity-defying reward for a successful food drive. And the Coffeyville, Kansas Police Department wants to make sure the Grinch doesn't steal your Christmas.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6:31 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. We have some rain headed this way, so let's take it over to Tiffany to see what we can expect.
Good morning, Caitlin. And the rain will stay away from us today. However, as we head into tomorrow night and Friday, that's when our next chance of rain will be headed our way. This morning, we're starting off in the 40s, in the mid to upper 40s, rather. It's quite mild this morning compared to yesterday morning at this time when we were in the 20s and 30s. But the wind is up out of the south anywhere between 10 and 20 miles per hour, and these wind speeds will likely increase a little bit more as we go through the rest of the morning and into the afternoon. In fact, we could see gusts as high as 30, maybe even 35 miles per hour. Keep that in mind. If you have any outdoor decorations, you may want to make sure they're secure before heading off to work this morning, and then check on them as you head home, or once you get home, I should say. You want to dress for feels like temperatures in the 30s, because with that wind, our wind chills are in the mid to upper 30s. So it feels more like 39 in Joplin, despite air temperatures in the upper 40s. Feels like 38 in Pittsburgh, 37 in Parsons. Feels like 41 in Miami. Here's what to expect on your Wednesday. We do expect lots of clouds today. I really don't think we're going to see much in the way of sunshine. So this computer model just changed on me. Expect a lot of clouds with highs in the mid to upper 50s, breezy, mild, but we stay dry. Now, rain chances are back primarily tomorrow night into Friday. Plus, as we head into the weekend, if you're traveling, we'll let you know when the wettest day, which day the wettest day will fall on, coming up in a little bit. Caitlin, back to you.
Thanks, Tiffany. A Joplin business is helping area students pay for their school lunches. Always Buying Books has sent a check to a different school each week since the beginning of the school year. Owner Bob Wolf says that he believes no child should go without or have a lesser quality of lunch just because they can't afford it. The store just sent out its latest donation to the Wheaton School District. Wolf says he plans to continue this effort for as long as he can.
Just to help for the school lunches. I found out that some of the kids, if they get behind on paying the lunches, they get a secondary lunch, and I just don't think that's right, so we're going to help what we can.
The donation to the Wheaton School District is the 16th donation made by Always Buying Books. Reese Nichols Real Estate partners with Ronald McDonald House to raise some big money for the charity. Through the 2023 Gold Key Project, $21,000 has been raised for RMHC of the Ozarks and the 4 states, which will provide 211 free nights of critical lodging and support for families with hospitalized children. And that impact is felt locally.
For now, it's been April 15th through October 31st of every year. They donate $100 of every closing directly to Ronald McDonald House, and it stays here locally to this house.
Since its launch in 2020, the Gold Key Project has contributed a total of $62,200 to RMHC of the Ozarks and the 4 states. That money has provided 622 free nights for families. Students at Stapleton Elementary in Joplin yesterday taped their principal to the wall, but it was for a good cause. The students have been collecting food for the past several days. The class that collected the most had the honor of taping the school's principal, Casey Plyler, to the wall. The reward served as a highly effective motivation.
2,000 items to be donated, and we raised over 2,500 items just over about a week over a month long of collecting. And so we are getting ready to duct tape Mr. Plyler, our principal, to the gymnasium wall. And there'll be some other colorful additions to it as well.
School officials say they hope to show students that giving back to the community is a fun thing to do. Carthage residents went on an evening jog through a light display. Carthage Nazarene hosted the Run Through the Lights event. Folks were able to run, walk, or jog through the way of the Salvation Light display as part of a group. The course was 1 mile long, but there's also an option for the people to go another 4 miles through the Carthage Square to sparkle in the park at Central Park before returning it to Fairview Nazarene Church. And the Coffeyville, Kansas Police Department wants to make sure the Grinch doesn't steal your Christmas. They've released this video apparently confirming that the Grinch was spotted coming into town. He's a mean one, Mr. Grinch. GPS had been tracking his ankle monitor, which has since been removed. Coffeyville PD wants to make sure the public has all of their gifts locked up and secure and asks everyone to please keep their eyes open for this green menace. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Your holiday dinner costs can add up quickly. We'll learn some tips and tricks on how you can save this holiday season. Plus, Tiffany will have another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, your holiday dinner costs can add up quickly, but with a bit of planning, you can still host an unforgettable feast without going over budget. Jen Sullivan has 5 tips to have a frugal yet festive holiday dinner.
'Tis that time again. Let the holiday feasting begin. But be mindful to avoid a holiday hangover when it comes to your spending.
Many of us overspend during the holiday season because we don't go into the holiday season with any kind of spending plan at all.
According to a survey by the National Retail Federation, consumers celebrating the winter holidays are budgeting more than $250 on seasonal food, candy, and decor alone. If you're hosting, Jessica Allen from Living Well Spending Well has these 5 holiday money-saving tips. 1. Decide on a holiday budget.
This is the amount of money that we're going to spend. And then from there, you can start portioning out that budget into different categories.
2. Pare down the dinner. reevaluate the menu for the celebration and make changes to trim costs.
Is there a tradition that you tend to spend money and time on that gives you stress and anxiety rather than peace and fulfillment and joy? Just because you've done something before doesn't mean that you have to do it again.
3. Go potluck. Consider asking your guests to bring side dishes or desserts to spread the cost. 4. Start buying dinner ingredients early to avoid last-minute impulsive purchases.
You're going to enjoy your holiday season so much more if you can do the prep work early and ahead of time.
And finally, when it comes to decor, keep it simple and reuse items.
Repurpose, repurpose, repurpose. Use what you have.
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
The IRS says it's waiving $1 billion in tax penalty fees for the years 2020 and 2021. It affects taxpayers who failed to pay back taxes totaling less than $100,000 and those who received an initial balance due notice between February of 2022 and early this month. The agency says it is dropping the fees due to the disruption caused by the pandemic, which led to a massive backlog. And the number of suspected cases of lead poisoning from contaminated applesauce has nearly doubled in the past week to at least 205 cases across 33 states, according to the CDC. Now, 3 brands of cinnamon applesauce fruit pouches have been recalled, including Wanabana, Schnucks, and Weiss. The FDA warns that recalled products are still on shelves at Family Dollar and Dollar Tree combination stores, saying customers should not buy them. And another recall, Fresh Express is recalling some packaged spinach products sold in 7 states due to possible listeria. It affects products sold by under the name of Fresh Express and also Publix Spinach. The Food and Drug Administration says consumers who have the affected spinach should throw it out. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Now here's weather.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Tiffany Savona, and we're starting off with temperatures in the 40s this morning. It's not nearly as cold as it was this time yesterday morning, but the wind is breezy out of the south, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. Therefore, there is a bit of a wind chill to contend with as you step out the door. It feels more like the mid and upper 30s, so those are the numbers you'll want to dress for. Feels like 39 in Joplin with the wind blowing, 39 in Carthage, 37 in Pittsburgh, feels like 41 in Miami, and it feels like 39 in Cassville. So the kiddos will definitely need to bundle up as they head off to school, if they indeed are going to school today. I know it's a short week for many of the kids, and your kiddo may be off today. 44 degrees, cloudy. They will not need the rain gear. We're going to stay dry today with high temperatures around 57 degrees. A lot of you will be traveling as we head into this weekend. We'll have that travel weather forecast, and we'll also take a closer look at Christmas Eve and Christmas Day coming up. Caitlin?
Thanks, Tiffany. Well, it's almost time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. They're up after the break, but first let's see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you, I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, we're continuing our series on this year's Kennedy Center honorees with the country's most celebrated soprano. That would be the lovely Renee Fleming. She can sing. What she says almost ended her career. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
And it's time for birthdays and anniversaries. We're going to kick it off with Humboldt, Kansas. Happy birthday to Berkeley Zimmerman. And next up, happy Sweet 16 to Haley Fagan. And look at this, another Sweet 16, Marshall Fagan. Congrats. Over in Humboldt, happy 24th birthday to Wyatt Seufert. And taking it over to Miami, happy 27th birthday to Dakota Berry. Happy birthday, Tracy Rutledge, who turns 58 today in Chanute. And taking it over to Joplin, happy 69th birthday to John Sherwood. You're very loved and very appreciated. Happy 71st birthday to Kathy Ford in Chanute. And happy 72nd birthday to Jim Hart. It says here, happy birthday to the best brother a girl could ask for. Love you. Over in Joplin, happy 79th birthday to Clyde Stalling. And Jay O'Brien turns 84 today over in St. Paul. That's him with 9 of his great grandkids. Over in Joplin, happy 89th birthday to Fern Neely. And now we have some anniversaries. Happy 15th anniversary, Johnny and Jessica Kennedy of Goodman, Missouri. And happy 57th anniversary to Gary and Lavin Lavelle over in Crestline. Wrapping it up, we have happy birthday for Lindsay Hickey. Happy birthday, Lindsay. And Alan Whittick of McCune, Kansas. Happy birthday. That was a great list today. To send over your birthdays, just send them over to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com.
And it is a quiet start to your Wednesday, halfway through the work week. I know many of you have a short week because of the upcoming Christmas holiday. It's 46 degrees in Joplin, 44 in Pittsburgh. We are dry. We don't have any fog out there. No frost on your car. That's because temperatures are in the 40s this morning. So no weather problems to worry about as you head off to work. It's 46 in Joplin, 46 in Carthage, 42 Fort Scott and Newada, waking up to 44, 48 in Miami, and we're sitting at 46 degrees in Neosho. As we take a look at our feels like temperatures, the winds are up out of the south. Therefore, it feels more like the mid and upper 30s outside. So those are the numbers you will want to dress for as you head out to work. And if your kid has school and you're dropping them off, that's what you'll want to dress them in as well. As we take a look at our satellite and radar, we are cloudy across the region. We are going to stay dry today, but the clouds will hang tough. It will be a mild day despite the cloud cover with highs in the mid to upper 50s area wide. Overnight, the winds diminish a little bit. Temperatures fall into the upper 40s to near 50 degrees. I know our future track trying to paint a couple of showers, but keep in mind, these will probably be just a couple of sprinkles at best. I think we're going to be mainly dry tomorrow until tomorrow evening, that is. Notice how the showers start to push in to our western communities across portions of Kansas and Oklahoma. Then the rain overspreads the area tomorrow night. So it's looking like a rainy Thursday night and a rainy start to your Friday morning as the showers linger. Here we are at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. But then that rain will be out of here pretty quickly on Friday, so we'll dry things out on Friday. Clouds stay with us though, so it will be a bit of a dreary and damp day with highs in the mid to upper 50s. Let's widen out the picture and show you Saturday because a lot of you will be traveling. Saturday in the morning and early afternoon, we're going to be dry, but Saturday evening, the showers start to push in with a big dip in the jet stream to our west. That is where our storm system is coming from. So the rainiest period will be Saturday night into the day on Sunday. Sunday, 9:30 in the morning, we have showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms out there. And Sunday is looking pretty rainy throughout the day. And it looks like the rain will continue into your Christmas morning. Here we are Monday at 9:30 in the morning, although a lot of the computer models do start to clear that rain out by Monday afternoon. A closer look at your Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It's going to be a damp, a wet Christmas Eve, unfortunately. A mild one, though, 61 degrees. Rain and a few storms likely. Rain will linger into your Christmas morning, but then it looks like we'll dry things out Monday afternoon. 52 degrees for your high temperature. The mild weather continues through Christmas Day, and then we'll start to see temperatures take a dip after that. So your 7-day forecast showing that starting tomorrow evening, you'll need to keep that umbrella close by through the weekend and into your Christmas holiday. Tuesday, we're colder at 45, and look at the last couple of days of December. What a change. This December has been incredibly mild. We're going to end it on a colder note with highs in the 40s, lows in the 20s. Caitlin?
All right, coming up when the KOAM Morning News switches on over to Fox 14, more than 200 tow trucks give a parade for patients at Children's Hospital. We'll have the details. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Southeast Kansas manufacturer will pay for alleged environmental violations. Cobalt Boats will pay nearly $134,000 in civil penalties because of alleged violations at its plant in Neodesha, Kansas. The Environmental Protection Agency says the boat manufacturing facility failed to comply with regulations intended to prevent releases of hazardous waste. The EPA cites violations concerning storage, monitoring, and precautionary procedures, as well as record keeping. The agency says Cobalt has taken steps to comply with the regulations. And Mercy Joplin wins an appeal to the Missouri Supreme Court. The case concerns a shooting that occurred in the hospital parking lot in December of 2015. According to court documents, a woman who was high on methamphetamine got a gun out of a visitor's car, then shot the gun owner in the neck. The shooting victim, Stephen Harnier, survived and sued Mercy Hospital for negligence. He claimed the hospital did not follow its own security procedures prior to the shooting. A jury found Mercy liable. Now, Mercy has won its appeal after the Missouri Supreme Court found there was insufficient evidence that the hospital had reason to know that the woman was dangerous. And students at Stapleton Elementary in Joplin yesterday taped their principal to the wall as a reward for a food drive. The students have been collecting food for the past several days. The class that collected the most had the honor of taping the school's principal, Casey Tyler, to the wall. Officials say it's a good way to encourage the students to give back to those in need. This reward comes after the students surpassed their goal of collecting at least 2,000 cans of food. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Cloudy, mild, and breezy today. Highs around 57. Tomorrow, winter officially begins Thursday night, but it's not going to feel like it. We could see a couple of sprinkles during the day tomorrow. Better chances for rain Thursday night into early Friday morning. Now, Saturday, more showers push in Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and the wettest day on that 7-day looks to be on Christmas Eve, unfortunately. Showers and a few storms look likely, and the rain looks like it could continue into Monday morning, which is your Christmas Day. At least it'll be on the mild side, so Christmas Day, we're not looking at a white Christmas, we're looking at a wet Christmas. But it will turn colder by the middle to end of next week with temperatures in the 40s for highs. Caitlin?
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making show-stopping cherry pecan brie in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. There's a historic election battle brewing following Colorado's Supreme Court ruled that former President Trump be removed from their primary ballot. Next on CBS Mornings, what this could mean for the 2024 election. Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, a video made by a Joplin resident is going viral on social media platform TikTok. Plus, Katie Townsend joins us in studio to tell us more about 4-H activities. But that'll wrap it up for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. and we'll see you again today at noon.